This, however, is something that this guy was pointing out that in the Austin TV.
What's going on, Internet? Really exciting news today. Tesla just launched the Robotaxis. First Model Y Robotaxis have been spotted driving around Austin. My Model Y just dodged a piece of paper that's flying down the highway there. It's really interesting. While I'm adjusting my camera to get better selfie footage. Changing lanes. Okay. But this is very exciting. Robotaxi Model Ys, new Model Ys, hardware for Model Ys with Robotaxi letters on them. This is the phase change in the state of transportation that we have all been waiting for. And as a Model Y owner, I have been looking forward to for several years. And as a Robotaxi enjoyer, because I don't feel any qualms about calling this Model Y a Robotaxi. I mean, does it look like I'm driving this vehicle right now? Does it look like I've been driving this vehicle in any of the videos, any of the FSD vlogs that I've made? Not really. But my new vehicle that I bought is not a Robotaxi. It's not Robotaxi ready. We got the Rivian R1S, and we just had, that is me and my wife Sean, just had an amazing 4 days up in Idlewild. Beautiful place. Highly recommend you go check it out. If you love mountains and you love forests, which who doesn't love mountains and forests? Let's be real. But yeah, we were in Idlewild in the R1S. It was our first camping trip in the R1S, testing out the features of our R1S build and development for the purposes of car camping. And the fact that these things are happening at the same time, I got this R1S, getting ready to live in the R1S on the road, and Model Ys are becoming Robotaxis at the same time. It kind of heralds what I believe is the future of vehicles and the future of transportation unfolding before our very eyes. And a big part of that future, which I won't get too much into in this video, is actually micromobility. It's a big part of why I am bringing two e-bikes, one for me, one for Sean, in our R1S car camping setup and country traveling setup, if you will. A lot of the future mobility is going to be done in e-bikes and micromobility devices. So that's for a separate discussion. A lot of it is going to be robotaxis. A fair balance depending on how far you're going. If you're going less than 5 miles, there's going to be like a scooter or an e-bike for you. And if it's not raining, if you're going less than 5 miles and it's not raining, if you're going more than 5 miles and it's raining or it's winter or something, you're going to ride in a robotaxi. And 90% of people, 90% of trips in the future, now that we're going to have robotaxis, will be done with robotaxis. Robotaxis will be dedicated mobility devices. And we're going to see vehicles as a whole change, where there are going to be two different types of vehicles in the future, two super types of vehicles that all other subtypes will fall under. Those two super types are robotaxis, or dedicated mobility devices, and then utility vehicles. And I think that my own personal situation with my Model Y that I'm in right now, this robotaxi, and the Rivian R1S, which is my car camper, perfectly situates or like defines what that difference is that if all you need as a regular person, a citizen of this coming stellar economy, as Tony Sebo would put it, is a place to go, a way to go from A to B, you won't need to own a car. You could just hail a robotaxi. Or if you own a car, you're not going to buy like a new car. You're just going to hang on to the car that you already have, which for most people is a 5 to 10-year-old ICE vehicle. So the dawn of robotaxis means that by and large, most people out there, vast majority of people, will have no reason to purchase a new car ever again. They're going to hold on to their ICE vehicle, like this Honda Civic that's there, or this Honda Odyssey that's in front of us. And for the handful of times that they really need a vehicle, they're going to have it. They already have it. They might have it paid off or whatever. But then over time, here and there, little by little, it's just going to get more convenient, cheaper, easier to go from A to B in a robotaxi or on an e-bike, on a rented e-bike, or some combination of the two. And that's how the vast majority of people are going to get around. And then that leaves the utility vehicle, which I think is best exemplified by the R1S, or an even better example of a utility vehicle. A higher example would be a camper van. Good friend of mine just got a high top, like transit style camper van. I think his van was built on a ProMaster chassis. But that type of vehicle is going to be like the remaining types of vehicles that people will purchase, that people will have a need for, will be those types of vehicles. And in that situation, the ability of that vehicle to take you from A to B is baked into the fact that it's a vehicle, but it's the secondary consideration for why you purchased it as a buyer. The main consideration was you needed the non-transportation utility of it. You needed to be able to put more stuff in it. You needed to be able to put yourself in it and sleep in it. You needed to be able to export power from it. You know, like every electric vehicle, this one included, though the R1S is a better example because R1S has more outboard power inverters, but every electric vehicle is also a backup energy source for a house. It could serve as vehicle to home, vehicle to grid, vehicle to load, as we call it. My R1S camper can put out up to 1,500 watts through two different 120 volt electrical sockets. So I can run the Instant Pot. I can run the sous vide cooker as a water heater to make like a bucket of warm water for taking a shower. I can run the air fryer. Like between the air fryer and Instant Pot, it's any meal you would need. And then the sous vide cooker can cook, besides cooking meals, also makes hot water, not on demand instantly. It takes a little bit of time to heat up the water, but still you get hot water there. And that, together with the HVAC system and the space in the R1S, is like the bare bones necessary for you to have like shelter as a person. So in a long way of saying it, it's like vehicles are going to segregate into these two extremes, where on one hand you're going to have like camper vans and like these super useful utility vehicles that can go from A to B, but really what they're dialed in on is being like a support for your lifestyle, being able to carry your extra gear, or a place where you can rest, or you can plug your house into it and it supports your house. But then the other vehicles, the vast majority of vehicles, probably 80 to 90% of all vehicles that will be manufactured from here on out, that'll be needed into the future, will be robotaxis. Because vast majority of people, the only touch point that they will have with a vehicle will be to go from A to B. Like, as much as I love EV camping, and I've started a YouTube channel that's just about EV car camping, it's a really weird lifestyle. There aren't that many people who are into it yet. I think it's going to grow. But, van life and living in vehicles, traveling around in vehicles, this is still very much like an alternative kind of lifestyle. I think it's going to grow. I think it's going to get more popular, especially when those vans can drive themselves and we start to apply the FSD technology into, I guess it's already in the Cybertruck, but unfortunately the Cybertruck is not a very good van life vehicle. I wish it was. I would have gotten one if it was, but the R1S is. And sometime within the next few years, Tesla's going to start making robo vans, and those are going to be like the perfect van life vehicle. And that, when we get to that point in like 3 years, where you have self-driving robo vans that can be kitted out as a Class B RV motorhome, we're really going to hit like a big, like this whole van life trend is going to hit another inflection point. Because if you can sleep in the vehicle while you're going from like the Grand Canyon to Moab, and then just wake up in the morning and be in Moab or Aspen or Chicago, something like, why the hell would you want to be tied down to a single apartment, a single a single dwelling, a single house. I mean, a really good reason would be if you're invested, right? You bought the house, it's like holding most of your net worth, and you're really hoping that it'll continue to accumulate because that's the main strategy you've chosen for growing your personal worth. Like that's a very hard market to undermine. That'll take a long time for that to unwind, but this is a really exciting time, man. This is a really, really exciting time. Holy crap. We got robo-taxis out in the streets of Austin, and we've got like EV life just happening for us, rolling out, and 90% of people out there have no idea what's happening, no idea that this transformation is occurring. And I just wanted to hop on the mic to like comment on it and talk about like this coming future, this like segregation into two. Like 90% is going to be robo-taxi, 10% is going to be utility vehicle, including trucks, camper vans, and increasingly more and more camper vans, especially once we get electric robo vans. That's what the future of the car market is going to look like. And all of these car manufacturers that remain, you know, Rivian, GM, Ford, Toyota, all those guys, like their ability to survive as producers and sellers and purveyors of vehicles will depend entirely on how much utility they can pack into those vehicles, because they're not going to compete. They're not going to be able to compete with robo-taxis if all they're looking for is a device to go from A to B. You know, it's just not going to happen. Not possible. Robo-taxis are going to take up like the vast majority of the mobility market, and what remains will be people buying vehicles for reasons other than going from A to B. And as far as that goes, like of the brands that exist that aren't Tesla, the only one I could think of that's kind of well positioned for that is Rivian. And you know, makes me feel better about like having a Rivian, even though Rivian does have tremendous amount of challenges ahead of them. Like they really need to get the R2 ramped well in order to survive. But you know, the fact that they don't have a ton of ICE engines and dealerships and, you know, factories manufacturing this old like dinosaur juice guzzling technology, and they don't have this dealership network weighing them down, means that they're way better positioned to survive than like GM or Ford or Toyota. So and the fact that they've already branded themselves as the adventure vehicle producer means that they're in a good spot too. So yeah, if I had to think of it moving forward, it's a world for Tesla and then Rivian, and everyone else, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Everyone else is in trouble. That's all I had to say. West Coast.